back to the recent World Series. There are the stats. Yards passing, Minnesota caught up with that late surge by Tommy Kramer that produced a game-tying field goal. And I agree with Frank. Forget time of possession because that's so often misleading. I agree with Frank that Minnesota established late half momentum, and it may carry over now.
Well, they got a little rhythm into their offense for the first time the entire night in the last 3 minutes. And Denver, up to that point, had shut them completely down.
Steinfort tied it up with a 42-yard effort. Rick Danmeier hit from 32 yards out for Minnesota. All the scoring, but a bitterly fought game between the 20-yard lines. And Rick Danmeier has it on the tee. Wade Manning is dropped for the Denver Broncos. Again, Wade Manning perhaps not as effective. Take away the perhaps. He's not as effective as Rick Upchurch returning the kicks, but Danny Reeves says, Upchurch is my deep man. I want to keep him out of the kick return. So we'll see Wade Manning from the 10-yard line. And Manning just bowling up close to the 28-yard line. For Denver will have the first possession of the second half. And Craig Morton will lead his troops back out onto the field.
Well, the big problem Denver's had the first half, I think, is trying to protect the quarterback. Minnesota's pass rush has gotten to Morton a lot and hurt him other times.
Got increasingly effective as the half moved along.
And really, Minnesota has not been that effective throughout the first 8 games. They came into tonight with only 14 sacks and 7 interceptions. That's very low in the NFL. They have, however, pressured Craig Morton tonight. On first down, Craig is back. Looks for his checkoff man. He's covered. Morton is forever. And he loses it, but he had the ball in motion, and Morton took another severe shot.
He certainly did.
He is hurt. Randy Holloway hit him right in the back just as he released the ball. And Craig Morton is hurt.
As we said before, Craig does hold the ball longer than any quarterback that I know in football, and when you do, you get just those kind of hits. It's too bad.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback hold the ball longer than Craig just did. It seemed interminable, and now he's paying the price.
Craig Morton in his 17th year came in tonight leading the NFL in passing. They have tried so many times to replace Craig Morton wherever he's been. They tried it at Dallas, and of course they ultimately did.
You watch him here. He's looking, Giff. He's trying to find a guy down the field. And he's staying in the pocket, and he's getting pretty good protection here. Then, wow, does he get hit from the back and then the front by Studwell.
And Morton remains on the turf here at Mile High Stadium, being treated by the medical staff of the Denver Broncos. A close-up look at a weary Warrior who was really pounded a moment ago. He did, however, walk off the field without help. He's complaining his left shoulder, holding that as he came off. Meanwhile, Steve DeBerg has come on, acquired at the beginning of the season from San Francisco for a draft choice. And that draft choice depended upon DeBerg's performance. He was a starter for San Francisco in '79. Part-time starter a year ago as the 49ers developed Joe Montana, and on the very first play, Rick Carroll off the right side.
Point here, Giff, it happens so often in pro football. When you stopped one quarterback, he goes down with injury or goes out for whatever reason, you bring another one in. It's a whole different rhythm for the defense to get used to. Many times he's effective when he starts out.
Carroll's got 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. Interestingly enough, DeBerg, who was acquired by Danny Reeves, well, back in '77, Danny Reeves cut DeBerg when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys needing a running back, went for Preston Pearson, and they let DeBerg go, and he became a starter for the 49ers. Now, in the uniform of the Denver Broncos and on the spot, looking over, third down and 4. DeBerg under pressure. Whoa! Batted up in the air. Great pressure by the Vikings. They are not necessarily known for this kind of a pass rush.
They really aren't, Giff, but they are doing it tonight. That was Holloway, Mullaney that time. Mullaney's had 3 quick beats of the offensive tackle over there.
They had 14 sacks all year, as Fran noted, coming into this game. Good Lord, the Giants had 9 sacks against them yesterday in one game.
I knew you'd get to it.
I knew you'd never let that slip.
Bart Prestridge is on fourth down. Eddie Payton has dropped for Minnesota. One would suspect, as we look down at the bench, that we will see Craig Morton once again. High snap. Prestridge fields it. Beautiful kick. Payton from his 20-yard line. Payton, swarmed under by a host of Broncos following a 45-yard punt. It was Mike Harden there first defensively for Denver. And once again, a look at Craig Morton, a weary Craig Morton. We'll be back. Missed a very poignant moment. Danny Reeves, who started in the world of professional football the same year that Craig Morton did, walked over to Morton. It looked as though he said, "Can you make it?" Morton kind of nodded. We don't know whether we'll see him again. Meanwhile, Minnesota has a 1st and 10. The ball at their own 21-yard line. Kramer puts Brown in motion. And everyone in the pattern. Ricky Young over the middle, and he can't hold on as he is hit and hit hard. Number 53, Randy Gradishar.
Frequently it's said, Frank, this is a big series. And frequently it's a cliche, almost always. But this is a big series. Why? Because this is what Frank was talking about, by the way. Those two men have a special feeling for one another. They began together. Craig did throw touchdown passes to Dan. Dan never became a great player. Morton has flirted with greatness and is having his finest year this year.
2nd down and 10. Ted Brown, single setback. Here comes Brown. Gary out in front. And Brown out over the 25. Goes to the 28-yard line. Pickup of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Randy Gradishar again defensively for Denver.
We were saying this is a big series as you look at Bud Grant. Why? Because Minnesota clearly has established the momentum. And Denver's got to find a way to get it back. And if Minnesota can keep moving the football, keep its offensive rhythm, they can take over this football game.
Well, also, Denver's lost their number 1 quarterback to injury, and they need to get some momentum from the defensive team. All right, Giff.
3rd down and 4 is down on the Denver bench. Craig Morton is warming up. Kramer back. Kramer, keep in mind, he's trying to run with a knee brace, and Randy Gradishar, who had dropped deep into the pass protection for Denver, was able to recover and get to Tommy Kramer short of the 1st down, and now Gradishar is down.
And let's talk about Gradishar. Dan Reeves and Grady Aldham, the general manager today, told me that Gradishar may be having his finest year. He's having a terrific year for the Broncos. He made a big play for him right there. He also made a big play on the 1st down play when he shook Ricky Young loose of the ball and caused an incompletion.
Greg Coleman comes out for the Vikings. Once again, Wade Manning settles in for Denver near his 28-yard line. Low snap. Fielded well by Coleman.
He hit it, though, didn't he?
He hit another beauty. Manning from his 20-yard line. And he will not outrun the pursuit as Keith Nord is there first. And Denver, the offensive unit, coming back out onto the field. There's a discussion at the moment. Will it be Morton or DeBerg? And Craig Morton is coming back onto the field. He'll get a tremendous ovation. Craig Morton, the NFL's number 1 passer, has come back into the game. I mentioned it a moment ago. Seems like they're always trying to replace Craig. They finally did in New York after he was traded by Dallas. Joe Pisarcik took over there. Came out here, took them to the Super Bowl, but still they didn't think he was the man. Often booed. They brought in Matt Robinson a year ago. They thought it would be the youngster Mark Herman, but the man on the spot once again is Craig Morton. 1st down and 10. The Broncos from their own 20-yard line. Morton whips it out to Upchurch. He gets the block in front of him, but he's taken quickly at the 25-yard line. Good recovery out there.
Giff, good smart call by Dan Reeves, who calls the plays. They get in a lot of pressure. Fake the run to the line. Quick screen out to Upchurch. Gives them a little rhythm going.
Fran, if you were quarterbacking, would you try that play on Matt Blair's side? He's just so big and so fast.
Well, the other side, they got Fred McNeil, who's almost as big and just as fast, so they don't have much choice.
You might file that play for this game.
Well, they got 5 yards. They did what they wanted to do. They got a positive play out of it on 1st down.
2nd down and 5. Morton again. Fired, and it's complete to Rick Upchurch right in front of John Turner, who's laying way off of Upchurch.
Yep.
And, of course, if you get into a man-for-man situation, you better lay off Rick Upchurch because he can really fly.
I'll tell you, Craig Morton is a courageous fella.
Yes, he is.
You've got to give that man credit. One of these times, Rick Upchurch just might break one.
But what they've done is a very smart thing from an offensive standpoint. They've got themselves in position 3rd and 1.5 to make a first down here to go into the second half. They haven't made one yet. They need this.
3rd, a little more than 1.5. We'll call it 2. Short yardage offense. Rob Lytle.
Oh, it's close, isn't it?
I don't think
very
he got
close to the first at the 31-yard line.
Don't think he got it.
I think you're right, Howard. I don't think he did either. Good defense by the Vikings there, whether he got it or not.
Well, Denver thinks they have it.
Yeah, Larry Canada gave a nice signal for Denver.
That's the oldest roost in the world.
He has got it by about a foot, it does appear.
He has got it, Giff. You're right.
Yep.
Larry Canada knew better than us, Howard.
Good for him.
1st and 10, Denver. And Craig stays on. And if you were not with us in the first half, Craig Morton took 4 vicious shots, survived all of those. Mullaney finally hammered him along with Studwell, and it was questionable whether he was even going to get up, but he's back in the game, and he's 10 of 18 with 107 yards on the night.
And I would think he'd stay with the short passing game or run the ball.
And up, Preston. Preston stacked up there. Jeff Seaman closing down, getting help from Mullaney and White. Maybe a yard.
I'll tell you one thing, Minnesota is playing some kind of tough defense right now. They're having to struggle for every yard they get.
Interesting game, too, in the new era of pro football, high-scoring contest. We've got a 3-3 ball game, 9:52 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and we haven't even seen a threat of a touchdown.
Swiftly paced, though.
Yep.
Good game.
You've got
Excellent
on one
game.
side the leading offensive team in football.
And on the other side, the #1 defensive team in the NFL, the Broncos. 2nd and 9. Morton, complete to Tony Reed. He has the first down, and he's in Viking territory. Taken out of bounds there, close to the 48-yard line.
Now, we've said Craig Morton's courageous physically. That time, mentally, he was courageous because he threw a pass just out of the reach of Matt Blair, who's got tremendous reach to Tony Reed. He threw a strike. Watch him from the shotgun here. He's got Reed on Matt Blair on the right part of your screen. You'll watch Blair almost reach out and make the play. Look at there.
Yep.
If he does make that play, it's 6 points the other way. That's as equally as courageous as he was a minute ago coming back into the game.
But look at the functional Reed. He is really a quality player.
Denver, first down, 48-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Riley Odom's in motion, and the quick toss goes to Canada. Now Larry turns the corner. It's 2, perhaps, before taken out of bounds by Mark Mullaney, who's playing a terrific game defensively for Minnesota. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
It was out of the 45.
That's nice.
That is nice.
Eye sculpture at the corner of the end zone.
Second down. 7.
Beautifully done.
ABC Sports. This is Mark Mullaney's hometown, Giff. He played ball here at Colorado. He trying to give the home folks a show, and he's doing it.
2nd and 8. Watson split to the left. He's been contained tonight. Morton looks for him. He's covered. Over the middle, and a flag goes down as it's complete out to Riley Odom.
Well, that
Late flag, too. So in all probability, it'll be a holding call. When
That's
start
it.
get that quarterback running out of the pocket, as Craig had to do at that point, the linemen, they just almost instinctively grab as they feel that pressure change by the defensive lineman on the rush.
He really had very, very good protection that time from his offensive line.
Craig is over there discussing with one of the officials. He's saying that Riley Odoms was held. Holding number 70. Dave Studdard playing the unfamiliar right tackle spot tonight in place of Claudia Minor.
And he's having to play against Mark Mullaney.
45.
And we have called Mark Mullaney's number many times tonight. 9:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter. We remain tied at 3 apiece. Steinfort field goal at 42 yards. The Danmeier field goal at 32 yards. That has been the scoring.
Interesting, no shotgun there, Giff.
2nd and 17. Morton again holding it on. Egloff. And again, Morton flirting with disaster as he overweights what any offensive line is expected to do. but he pulls it off, and Denver has a first down, 33-yard line of Minnesota.
He better take that offensive line out and buy them a double steak dinner for what he's asking them to do, because he is really taking some time. All right, here's the Vikings in their traditional zone defense. You see them spread all over the field to their zones. The cornerbacks and safety men are very deep. The linebackers are trying to get some depth, but Egloff gets in between them all. Morton finds him. Big gain for the Bronx.
Pick up at 22. First and 10, Denver. Morton again, quickly firing to Watson.
I think.
Right on the line of Upchurch as the two receivers were right together. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. A quick look at Watson. He has been spectacular. He caught 6 passes in '79 as a rookie free agent from Temple. He caught 6 in 1980. This year, as we've already pointed out, over 35 receptions, but 10 of those have been for touchdowns. One of them was for 93 yards against San Diego. One was for 95 against Detroit. He has been spectacular.
Jeff, on that play, I really thought he might have been thrown to Upchurch, and Upchurch did too for a minute, but he didn't go after the ball. The ball was too high for Upchurch and too short for Watson.
Second and 10, and this is the situation when Minnesota has really been able to pressure Morton, and he's going to, again, have to call timeout. He did that twice in the first half. Unhappy either with the call that was given him or the personnel with which he had to execute it. And he will saunter very slowly over to the Denver bench. And we will be returning to Denver right after this message. For 11 years, it's been fans like this that have been selling out Mile High Stadium. Of course, the stadium, pardon me, has changed in structure over the years. But they love their Denver Broncos in Denver. Second down and 10. Morton trying to change things up. Comes with a trap up the middle to Dave Preston, and James White was not fooled one iota. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our friends at the stations around the country who are bringing you this game identify themselves.
This is Channel 7 KBC TV, Los Angeles.
Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Fran Tarkington watching a bitterly fought game. The Denver Broncos trying to join Kansas City, San Diego, top of the Western Division of the AFC. Minnesota trying to retain their lead. NFC Central, and the score is tied at 3. Seesaw battle. Morton, third down and 8. Fires tremendous collision. It was intended for Watson, and Watson was hit there hard by John Turner. Also there, Tommy Hannon.
I mean, Morton delivered a bullet. Watson came along, had a chance, but he was hammered by Tommy Hannon. You'll see it here from the end zone. Morton from the shotgun. Good protection by his offensive line. He steps up in there, sees Watson coming across the middle. Watch Hannon, 45, going for the ball, and for Steve Watson.
And out comes Steinfort. He is hit from 42 tonight. He will try one from 49, well within his range. He kicked 5 over 50 a year ago, but he's been off this year. On its way, and looking good. Steinfort. This crowd just erupts. Came in tonight, 5 of 15. He promptly missed one from 29 yards. Hung his head, walked off the field, but came back and has now booted one from 42 and has just now hit from 49. Denver is out in front, 6-3, and we'll be back. Back at Mile High Stadium. Crowd just now quieting down following a 49-yard field goal by Fred Steinfort, who is set to kick off. Eddie Payton is deep for Minnesota. High kick. Payton awaits the ball at the 5. He's got some running room. And Walter's little brother, Eddie Payton, with a great effort out to the 45-yard line. Minnesota again, good field position. Dennis Smith, the rookie from USC, was there defensively for Denver.
Let's watch Eddie Payton here. We saw him go 99 yards on Monday night against Oakland a few weeks ago, and here he goes. He's got a good wall of blockers. He cuts it upfield. He's a north-south runner. And watch him keep his feet. He takes 2 or 3 guys with him and finally goes down.
The first down for Minnesota, the 45-yard line on a 41-yard return from Eddie Payton. Tommy Kramer, unable to get it into the end zone. He's moved back and forth up and down the field. Hands off to Ted Brown. Brown surges for a pickup of perhaps 3 as Bob Swinson.
There's
Randy Gradishar is there. It'll be 2nd and 7.
I tell you, there are things that the viewers just can't see or know about. Steinfort, almost a mental case over his inability to kick the way he used to be able to kick. The patience of Dan Reeves,
Right.
describing to us how he's working with him, how he hopes he can come back, and the patience being rewarded tonight.
And he stayed with him. He stayed with him in adversity, and that's good.
Well, in all honesty, they brought in several kickers and looked at them. 2nd and 7. Kramer under pressure. Gets it off. Ricky Young. And Ricky Young is piled up as now the Bronco defense is showing you why they have been the #1 defense in the NFL.
We got a flag in the secondary, Giff.
Flag deep downfield where Rashad was dueling with Aaron Kyle. Rashad and Kyle all locked up together. Kramer was not even looking in that direction. And the penalty is going to work against the Broncos.
And a costly one it is. In the meantime, the Broncos linebackers, so incredibly active. Gradishar, Jackson, Swinson,
And Larry Evans.
Illegal contact, number 22, first down.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Minnesota, and I'm sure the contact was Aaron Kyle against Ahmad Rashad. And if you look back at the defensive change of, let's look again.
Watch it. Here's Ahmad against Kyle. You watch it, and you tell us with his illegal use of hands. Well, he's not supposed to be touching that receiver after 5 yards. I think he might have.
That's the call. And a proper one it was under the present rules. 47-yard line of Denver. 1st and 10. Kramer is back. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Kramer with a good shot to censor, but he has yardage for the 1st down. But again, the flag is down.
And the penalty gift's going to be on Censor because when he came in motion, he cannot go forward before the snap, and he was.
There's a look at Randy Gradishar checking it out. You got it.
In
Censor
motion.
is moving towards the line of scrimmage. He must be parallel or moving laterally.
Of course, Denver's saying he caught the ball, then fumbled, and we recovered. And the referee said that's no deal. You didn't recover.
Gradishar looking right through referee Fred Wyatt to see what Dan Reeves wanted to do, whether to accept or decline.
Illegal motion, number 81.
Censor in motion, and the Broncos will take the 5-yard penalty. That, of course, means that the down will remain the same. Had they declined, it would have been 2nd down and 10, but the Broncos wanted to back up the Vikings. Change I started to say, one of the other changes defensively for Denver has, we mentioned the return of Bob Swinson, who was out with a broken arm all last year, but Randy Gradishar played with a damaged ankle, a broken finger, a broken thumb throughout the entire year of 1980. He's back and healthy, and Denver is tough. 1st and 15. Kramer. And Censor crossed him up.
They obviously had a mix-up there, Frank. Censor cutting inside. Kramer throwing outside.
Fran, you know better than us. Are the Viking receivers given that latitude in what they can do?
No. The backs are occasionally coming out. They have an option to cut in and out on some patterns. But the amazing thing about that, you mentioned earlier to me, in a timeout, Giff, is they had Bob Swinson covering Censor man on man as a split receiver. I've never seen anybody get a linebacker out in that situation. They think he can do it, and he did do it.
He might be the best against the pass defense. Certainly right up there with the best. Bob Swinson. 2nd down and 15. The short pass to Ted Brown. And then Brown tacks on additional yardage, moving to the 43-yard line before Billy Thompson is there defensively. A pickup of about 8, but well short of the 1st down, and it keeps Minnesota in a passing situation. 3rd down and 7.
Well, I'll tell you, little Tommy Kramer will chip away at you all night. He's not having his best night of the year, but you cannot give up on him. He's as good a 4th quarter quarterback as is in the game today, and you got to play your defense all night against him. He's not going to let up. He's very competitive.
You know, he's quarterbacked the Vikings to victories in 7 times in 39 starts, and they won it in the final 2 minutes. He doesn't ever think he's defeated. 3rd down and 7. Kramer. White, short of the 1st down inside the 40-yard line. Short by a couple of yards. Whistle is blown. It'll be brought back.
not having his best night of the year because of that Denver defense, Francis.
And give Joe Collier, the defensive coach of Denver, a great deal of credit for that.
He, of course, the defensive coordinator that Danny Reeves kept. We mentioned it today. We asked him about the defense. He said Joe Collier does that.
All right, you can look for something funny from Minnesota here, Giff. In that situation, the 39-yard line, Grant's pretty sneaky, pretty cagey. He could try a fake.
One thing you can count on is a long count, hoping to draw them offside. Billy Thompson is back in a very tentative deep position for Denver. Of course, Denver is thinking right with Minnesota.
And if Minnesota had a trick play on, they would call it off in this situation if Denver's expecting it.
Coleman looking for the corner, and he caught it inside the 10. It'll be marked at the 9-yard line. So Denver will start deep in their own territory. Holmes meet once before? As amateurs, I mean? I guess not. First down and 10. Handoff. Parros, right side. Piled up as he crosses the 10-yard line. Gain of a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8.
Well, here's the situation. Denver's got a 6-3 lead. They're down inside their 10. They want to protect the ball, and yet they cannot be too conservative. Minnesota's defense wants to keep them in so they can give their offense field position.
3:50 remaining in the third quarter, and the seconds are ticking off.
You're right. They can't be too conservative.
Nope.
They've got to get out of there.
Denver,
from their point of view.
Denver's worst field position of the night. Broncos leading 6-3. Handoff to Parros. He cuts back, sees the opening, drops the football. There's a scramble. Minnesota is saying they have it. And the officials are agreeing. Minnesota getting the turnover. Who has the football? Number 79. That's Doug Martin.
And he was in the doghouse.
Knopf was the man who collided with Parros, causing the fumble. And Doug Martin comes up with it.
He's out in the doghouse now.
Good move by Parros. Bad move not to hold on to it.
Well, he did make a good move. Good blocking. Big hole. And he gets hit by Knopf. Gets the ball knocked out. Martin recovers. That alone will not get him out of Bud Grant's doghouse, if indeed he is in it, and I think he is.
Minnesota, 17-yard line of the Denver Broncos. Kramer back. Goes to Ricky Young, who one-hands it. A spectacular catch, but not picking up too much yardage, perhaps 4, as Tommy Jackson was right with him.
I tell you, Tommy Kramer's pulling out all the stops. He used every formation in the world, every kind of pattern to all the receivers, and it's just hard to get anything against the Denver defense.
Kramer looks over to the bench where the play is signaled in to him.
He's saying, Jerry Burns up the press box, give me some magic here.
That, of course, called down to Bud Grant and signaled in to Jerry Kramer. There was a gain of 4. It's second down and 6. A long 6 from this position. And it's Ricky Young as Tommy Kramer continues to peck away. This too short of a first down as Randy Gradishar rained all over Ricky Young.
He really chips away.
Yep, he got what he wanted there. He got himself in position now. Short yardage for third down, and that's what he wanted.
You sure you didn't work with this man? He does so much of what you used to do, Fran.
He does it awfully well, I'll tell you that.
No, Fran used to pick up more yardage.
I don't think so.
Over 40,000 yards, I might add. Third down, more than 1. Short yardage defense for Denver. 2 tight ends for Minnesota.
Minnesota likes to play pass in this situation.
Censor. Brown just strength alone that we talked about earlier carries it for a Minnesota first down close to the 5-yard line.
He got it.
Boy, I'm telling you, he showed some power there, didn't he? Got low, got leverage underneath the shoulder pads of the defensive people and pushed them back.
He is strong. He had knee surgery in the offseason. They worked on it again during the summer. When we saw him the first week of the season, he was not 100%, but he is 100% tonight, going against the number 1 defense in the NFL.
And Minnesota's keeping their big guys in there from the 6-yard line. A little unusual, a little far out for that type of situation, but it's all goal line now.
First and goal. Big opening for Ricky Young, and he drops the football. There's a scramble, and Denver got it. Denver.
They say they got it, but let's see.
No, we've got the indication. Aaron Kyle, I believe, comes out of the pile with the football. And Denver, who came to life deep in their own territory, now they have their 6-3 lead with 1:08 remaining in the third quarter.
All right, here's a reverse angle. You see the handoff from Kramer to Ricky Young, 34. Rulon Jones is deep and out of the play. He's got a good hole. That's a good hole for that part of the field on the goal line. There he gets hit right by 22, Aaron Kyle. He made the hit on the ball. Ball pops loose, and it's a mad scramble, and I guess Aaron Kyle came up with it.
Minnesota had a 1st and goal to go near the 5-yard line. Denver now has the football.
And they got double tight ends in. They got their goal line offense down on their whole goal line.
Dave Preston, right side. He squeezes the football.
Very
Moves out over
interesting
the 10. He'll get 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Dan Reeves has done a very interesting thing, and I think a very smart thing. He's got his 2 tight ends in there in this situation like you would have on a short yardage situation or down trying to score. He's got it when he's down his own end of the field, so we're going to get power running in there. We're going to say, we're going to not do the pass, we're going to run at you right now, and here we go, and he did it.
He also has tremendous belief in this defensive unit.
Now he's gone back to conventional offense.
Not terribly concerned if he does have to kick from down here. 2nd down and 5. Then Tony Reed, and Tony Reed sees an opening. Cuts back out over the 15-yard line. He's close to a 1st down for Denver.
Well, Dan Reeves told us how he was going to use Tony Reed tonight. He certainly has. He's been a key player for Denver all evening.
The yard markers will come out as you look at Aaron Kyle, who made a tremendous defensive play down near the goal line, in on the tackle, then recovering the fumble.
When he was with Dallas, Aaron Kyle was always considered to be a big hitter, but not good on coverage. With Denver, he's doing both.
Short by that much, says referee Fred Wyant. And the short yardage unit of the Denver Broncos comes back out onto the field.
And they keep Rob Lytle in, and all the big boys are in there, Giff. And I don't expect Denver to be sweeping either side. I think they'll go straight at that defense, and that's what you should do. Nothing fancy here. It's muscle on muscle, and who can out-muscle who.
14 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Denver on top, 6-3. Clock will start, and I do not believe Denver will attempt to get a playoff. No, they will not. As Craig Morton looks up at the scoreboard, watches the final seconds of the third quarter tick off, and there it is. So Denver holds on to the lead, 6-3, and will be returning for fourth quarter action from Mile High Stadium, a rocking Mile High Stadium after this from our stations. 4 letters like that come out of the state of Colorado than from any other state.
Isn't that a cute kid?
I'm not sure Governor Lamb will agree with that. The governor's here tonight.
Young people love this state. It's a young state. They really get into things. They're climbing the rocks, they're climbing the mountains, they're skiing down the hills, they're kayaking, they're rafting.
A lot of Coloradans here tonight. John Denver's here.
Oh, he looked good.
He did look. What a nice guy he is.
He really is.
He really is something.
Rocky Mountain High.
And he loves it out here.
Bob Maples is here.
Bobby Maples, Mount Vernon, Texas.
All right, we're going to begin the fourth quarter, and I hope you agree that we maybe have never seen a better football game in which not a touchdown has been scored in 3 quarters of play. 6-3, Denver leads over Minnesota, all the scoring by field goal. Larry Canada, right side, and Canada.
He got it.
It's the first down. Larry Canada was injured reserve all last year, as was Rick Carroll.
He's a tough kid. Wisconsin.
You know, tonight there hasn't been a touchdown scored by either team. I really cannot fault either offense. They've tried everything in the world. The defenses of both teams have been excellent.
And a quick look at Walt Garrison's old roommate, Danny Reeves. Craig Morton looking over his 1st and 10 at his own 19-yard line. Again, a lot of time. Complete. Dave Preston. Preston short of the first down, but out to the 26-yard line.
Isn't it funny how the game goes in cycles? A while ago, Minnesota's pass rush was getting to Morton, but now...
You see them block Mulaney out on that?
Right here, they had everybody blocked out. Morton's got all day to throw the ball, and he gets it into his back.
See, 77 came in much too late. He was blocked out beautifully.
Good job the offensive line for the Broncos are doing. A makeshift offensive line, if you will. Started a right tackle from Minor. As we watch Tony Reed barreling up the middle for another Denver first down behind another backup man in there at center. Billy Bryan was hurt, and Glenn Hyde has been performing all night.
There are the third quarter statistics. Denver still dominating. Total yards, 241 to 165. Denver with 2 turnovers. And time of possession, if you feel that's critical, the priority goes to Denver.
But also, Denver has 106 yards rushing in the third quarter. That's they're getting the ground game going pretty good with that.
They've got some very steady, not spectacular runners in Preston and Parros, Canada and Reed. And this time we'll watch Preston, left side. And again, good yardage. Pratt 6.
39-yard line.
Hit there by McNeil.
And Minnesota sees them trying to run the ball down this throat. So that time they blitz Matt Blair. When they're running against you, you want to blitz your linebackers to clog the holes. Minnesota tried to do it there and really didn't do it.
Tony Reed now comes in, replacing Dave Preston.
It's an old cliche of the sport. Yardage you make on first down. Right now, Denver's doing it. Look at how...
Pretty good balance.
Yep.
There's not a Dorsett in the carload, but they're getting it done.
5 backs.
Second down and 4. Play action by Morton. Again, all the time in the world, Odoms is open. And Craig Morton looking all over the field, finally spots number 88. Hits him. First down inside the 40-yard line.
He looked the entire field over. He wanted to go down the right side to Steve Watson. He was covered. Finally, he came back to Riley Odoms, who was wide open on the left side.
I'll tell you, he had time to look over to Danny Reed and say, who would you like?
Yeah, here was 2nd and 4. Minnesota expecting run, and look at the line block. My goodness. Throws it down the field. Odoms gets open, makes the catch. Much too much time for him to throw the ball from the Minnesota standpoint.
22-yard pickup. Matt Blair had been with Odoms. He probably could not believe that Morton had that much time. He let him go.
Yep.
First and 10, 39-yard line. Denver with a 3-point lead. This time the handoff is Parros. Big opening right side, and Parros inside the 15.
This Denver team is putting on a show. Look at the fans respond.
They've been here before, however.
I'll tell you, this is some impressive drive, though. They have taken that line of scrimmage and just dominated the line of scrimmage, opened big holes, protected the passer. When you dominate the line of scrimmage like that, you move the football.
Parros with the big gainer, a 4th-round pick a year ago, missed the entire season. Basically, he's a rookie. Knee surgery last year. 25-yard pickup. First and goal, 14-yard line. Handoff again, Parros, right side, struggling for yardage inside the 10. He's in the arms of Scott Studwell, and those are big arms.
You never heard of him, did you? Rick Parris, Utah State, as Frank just said, out for virtually a whole year. Still a rookie, probably in real net effect.
Yep.
And the leading ground gainer for the Denver Broncos this year.
Parris at 5 more, 2nd and 5.
Nothing fancy. They're just lining up and going after Minnesota's defensive line.
Craig will try and quiet the crowd. Fortunately, a partisan crowd, and they do settle. The toss is Preston. Preston almost winning the sprint to the corner, but he steps out of bounds near the 5-yard line, short of a first down.
And Craig Morton saying, send in the big boys because we only got about a yard to go for a first down.
Yard and a half, maybe.
And here they come. Danny Reeves said, okay, Craig, I'm going to send them in if that's what you want. You're a little bit older than I am. You must be wiser.
10:48 remaining in the game, and Denver is on top. 6-3, and they are threatening. As a matter of fact, Danny Reeves is only 1 year younger than the new owner of the Broncos, Edgar Kaiser Jr.
Yeah, the old man is Grady Alderman, the general manager. He's all of 43.
Out here, they call him Grandy Anderson.
Grandy Anderson. All right. Big play here, both sides.
Canada and Lytle the setback.
He's going to run it.
Canada. A collision time, and This will depend upon the surge. I think he's short of the first.
He is short of the first, Frank, and it's a big decision for Dan Reeves.
I would think. And I'm glad that Stan has to make the decision, and I don't have to pay the consequence for it. I would think he might go for it.
In comes Steinfort.
Nope, he's going to kick it, and he's probably wise to do that. You take your points.
And now timeout has been called.
He wants to think about it. I don't blame him. I think about it, too.
Denver has now used 2 of the 3 timeouts here in the second half. They're going to talk it over, and we're going to be coming back to Denver in a moment. You've been a head coach for 8 games. You decided to kick a field goal. Your quarterback calls timeout, walks over, talks it over with you. Your former friend says, hey, let's go for it. And that's exactly what Danny Reeves decided to do.
And doing the right thing.
Yeah. And regardless what happens, Jeff, I think it's the right decision.
Absolutely.
Make it or not make it.
Well, we got that straight.
All
Fourth
right.
down and less than a yard. Preston, or rather Lytle, and Lytle's in the end zone. Crowd has gone crazy.
Nice call, Coach.
The only way to go.
Had to. Good gutsy play by Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves showed me something right there.
He sure did. He's aging quickly.
He showed me something.
The profession will do that to you. Rob Lytle, good effort. That offensive line for Denver has been spectacular tonight. It's a makeshift line because of injuries to Claudie Minor. Studdard has moved to the right. They brought in Kelvin Clark. They lost their center. Let's look again.
Well, everybody's stacked up in the middle. Another gutsy coach to pitch the ball out. Seaman has a shot at him at the 6-yard line. He misses him, breaks the tackle, and goes in. Lytle, excuse me.
Steinfort. Block. And guess
Matt
who?
Blair.
Matt Blair. That is his 18th block of a kick in his career.
Which he's obliterated the record that Alan Page had. I think Alan Page's record was 14. And Matt Blair's just got 18. That's rather amazing, Giff.
It's routine for Matt Blair, but Denver is out in front 12-3. Steinfort will kick off. Eddie Payton, deep for Minnesota. Minnesota unable to put up the 6 points, represented by a touchdown. They have just 1 field goal to their credit, and they are down 12-3. And Steinfort is really juiced up. He hammers it out of the end zone. He is back.
You're right.
Yeah, he's almost as stoked up here as Howard is in this press box. Howard liked that 4th down.
He liked the call.
I'd
He
love
really
to
did.
see that.
All right, here it is. He's pitching out to old Lytle. You'll watch Seaman come in. He has a shot at him. The 6. Breaks that tackle. Breaks Hannon's tackle. Gets into the end zone. Huge play for the Broncos.
The option that Danny Reeves had to be considering was he has the best defensive team in the NFL. If he were to kick the chip shot for the field goal, then Minnesota, who had been unable to score a touchdown in 3 quarters and 5 minutes, would have to score a touchdown to move ahead. He made the right decision. 1st and 10. Kramer, the short shot to Ted Brown. Down goes Brown in the arms of Tom Jackson. Gain of a couple.
I tell you, those Denver linebackers, they are really everywhere.
But you know what they're doing well? Here, many times the Minnesota backs will catch the ball, make a juke on the linebacker and get big yards, or break the tackle and get big yards. The Denver linebackers are sure tacklers. They're making the tackle for a short gain, in this case 3 yards.
3 wide receivers now for Minnesota. Keep in mind, Tommy Kramer is a master in just this, his 5th year at bringing a team from behind.
That he is.
San Diego will tell you about it earlier in the year. 2nd down and 8. Flag is down. Should be holding. The pass intended for LeCount.
I think you're right, Jeff. I think it is holding.
I'll tell you that Aaron Kyle is playing a great game.
Yes, he
tonight.
is. Yes, he is.
Minnesota will be backed up.
Jeff, you made a good point. Tommy Kramer's so competitive. He's never out of the game. The Cleveland Browns remember him last year, too, and he took his team 80 yards in 21 seconds with no timeouts.
With the Ahmad Rashad catch.
Yes, it was.
Good. It was also a lot of luck with a little bit.
Yeah, but
Really good use of the hands with the 73.
That's Ron Yeri.
On the right side for Minnesota.
Ron Yeri's been there forever.
Your 2nd down, 17.
2nd down and 20. The league leader in receptions, Ted Brown.
51 receptions. Can you believe that?
And
He's on the pace for 100, Jeff.
we are just past half the season. Kramer under pressure. This one will be picked off by Aaron Kyle. And Kyle breaks the tackle of Sammy White, and he's bringing it upfield. My goodness. Aaron Kyle electrifies this crowd once again. To the 18, missed tackles, and Kyle has Denver within the 20-yard line of Minnesota, and Kyle is playing some game tonight.
He really is. He's having the biggest game he's had in the NFL. And they're watching in Dallas. They remember him well.
Dallas tried to sneak him through. Let's watch again.
There goes Tommy throwing the ball deep downfield. He's got Sammy White deep down the field, but he overthrows him. Kyle gets it. Sammy White's the first one to miss a tackle, and then the Minnesota offense forgot to know their own defense. They don't rally to the ball. There, Rashad gets blocked out. Hamilton misses. LeCount misses. Gary misses.
And Denver first and 10, 18-yard line. Hand off. Carroll. Actually, Dallas really wanted to keep Kyle. He'd been hurt a couple of years. They put him on waivers when they had to activate another player, and they didn't feel anyone would pick him up. And Denver did, the 8th week of the season last year. And he has been a big difference for Denver tonight and on their defensive unit all season. Gain of 2, it'll be second down and 8. Valuable seconds ticking away for Minnesota. No matter how you put it together, they have to score twice. And they have been struggling all night. Morton. Wild shot, Watson, 11th touchdown of the year, and credit Craig Morton, who once again stood there like the stoic he is.
You just don't see a more courageous quarterback than one Craig Morton. He's been hit, beat, and battered, dragged off the field tonight. One more time, he stood in there to the last possible second and delivered an absolute strike to Steve Watson. This crowd has gone crazy.
And, well, you can understand it here in ISO.
Well, Steve Watson, watch him down the field. He'll just make a little move to the outside. Running on John Turner, gets the inside position. Screens Turner with his body, makes the catch.
Steinfort. And the crowd will cheer every move of the Broncos from now on.
When Craig Morton has a good thing, he will use it again and again and again. And that's the story of Steve Watson. Craig Morton has a good thing. We'll be back.
I'll tell you, the senior set around the country loves this. 17th year, Craig Morton knocked out of the game, came back. But we must also credit great defensive play by Denver tonight. Steinfort bangs it deep.
We won't run that back.
And once again, Minnesota unable to bring it back, and they'll have possession of the 20. Let's watch Morton again. Watch how long he stays there.
All right, he fakes the run to the line. Watch Craig. He'll sit there, wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and then deliver it. Delivers a strike right into Steve Watson. It's a touchdown all over again. Now watch Morton's reaction after Blair gives him a little nudge on the shoulder. There he goes. He's excited.
11 touchdown receptions for Watson.
Look at here.
37 receptions on the year. The Denver Bronco record is held by Lionel Taylor of 12 touchdowns in a given season. And Watson, well, let's say he's got almost half the season remaining.
He's going to pass that. Hello, Craig. You're too much.
First and 10, Minnesota. They're down 19-3.
Here comes Tommy.
LeCount. And LeCount is out close to the 40-yard line. Minnesota first down.
There is no quit in this Minnesota team, and there's no quit in Tommy Kramer.
And there's no quit in LeCount. If you look at his performance against San Diego, it was simply incredible.
I'll tell you, 2-minute offense already.
Yep.
The formation is already set, and then he gives them the call from the line of scrimmage. Complete. Center. Big yardage. Center gets another first down to the 47-yard line. And again, hurry-up offense. And one thing this does, it almost prevents Denver from getting into a pass defense, but now a man is down on the field.
It does keep them from switching their defenses up, disguising their defenses, which they've done so well tonight. And that's Marty McDowell. Marty
McDowell, the rookie out of Mississippi State, is the injured Minnesota Viking. And it does not look good. 7:47 remaining in the game, and we'll be back in a moment. Marty McDowell has left the field. We'll try and get a report on the youngster from Mississippi State. Appeared to be damage to the right leg.
The drafting of Marty McDowell brought Terry LeCount to light.
It did indeed.
That's the story on Marty McDowell. Hope he's not hurt.
There is Marty McDowell.
They got Terry LeCount a couple of years ago from San Francisco. Last year, he did not play well at all for him. This year, he's playing better. Here's Marty McDowell. We'll watch his injury. Well, he just kind of got his legs tripped up and then goes down again by hitting by Gradishar.
Meanwhile, 1st and 10, Minnesota. Kramer gives the ball to Brown. Brown looking for running room, finds Little, and inside the 45 at the 44 for a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
And it's a no-huddle offense again. Into the 2-minute drill with 7 minutes left.
Formation has been called. Now the signal will be called. And 2nd and 8. Terry LeCount. LeCount has the 1st down. Stays on his feet. Struggles to the 32-yard line.
Now this is really
defensively. We have the score of 19-3, and that, frankly, is not too much for the Vikings.
No, and you can run an offense. This is no problem at all. They can run their full offense, yelling out the plays to the line of scrimmage.
On 1st down. This time, fired behind LeCount, and wisely so, because Randy Gradishar had taken the exact path for the interception.
But starting the 2-minute offense when the Vikings did is reflective of why Bud Grant is a very special coach.
Absolutely.
A great coach. He brings his team to training camp late. He does everything in an unorthodox way, but he's ahead of the game, and his record proves it. He's a remarkable coach.
He won in Canada big. He's won here in the NFL big. When you talk about great coaches, there are none greater than Harry Peter Grant.
Tony Galbreath, the end number 32. He's a good receiver, acquired from New Orleans. Hasn't played much this year, but he can catch the football. Going for a shot, and he comes down with it, and he struggles to the 10-yard line. And Minnesota battling with 6:35, and the clock is moving. Kramer was shaken up, but he's running upfield to get in the huddle.
And that was a great play by Rashad.
Watch Kyle.
Aaron Kyle he's all over him.
He's got the interception. Watch him go through Kyle's hands.
Yep.
Kyle had the interception. Tremendous concentration by Rashad, which he's used to doing anyway. He makes those catches routinely.
1st down, Minnesota, 10-yard line. He adjusts. Tony Galbreath. Here comes Galbreath. Galbreath cuts back, gets to the 6-yard line.
The reason Galbraith has played so sparingly is numerology at New Orleans, exactly opposite that at Minnesota. So he's been learning. There's a troubled Dan Reeves.
And also he's playing behind Ted Brown, and Ted Brown doesn't come out very often.
2nd down at the 6-yard line. Kramer. He's got it. Galbreath close to the goal line. They'll mark it short. Galbreath is in there because in the final 2 years in New Orleans, he caught 15 passes. He is a good receiver.
Maybe the very best in the league coming out of the backfield, including Ted Brown.
Now, Minnesota still a no-huddle offense. For that part, you think you're going to run the ball in from there, but I think Tommy's going to throw it. Let's see. He's telling Galbreath what to do.
Galbreath. Touchdown. And Minnesota, who went 3 quarters and 5 minutes without a touchdown, still has 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining, and they have shortened the lead.
Well, we said they had no quit on them. They go to a no-huddle offense and drive the ball, 65, 70 yards, get it down, going for a quick touchdown. They're back in the game.
One might ask, why don't they do this all the time?
I don't think you keep the pace all the time at that level.
Right? I'll tell you,
think of the pressure it puts on the defense.
It does
indeed. It's a fun game, Frank. This is a good game.
It's a good football game.
Danmeier for the conversion. Keith Nord is the holder. Danmeier drills it through. And now Denver's lead is cut to 9, 19-10. And what a show Tommy Kramer put on. In his 5th year, he has become not only gifted at what he does with his arm, with the way he moves the ball club, but he has become absolutely the man who can withstand the pressure, never losing his cool. And if you want a quarterback, that's one of the qualities you must have.
You know, so many scouts go out and look for quarterbacks that got the big guns, the big arms to throw the ball so hard. Tommy Kramer doesn't have the big gun, but he's got a feel for the game. He's a competitive guy. He's got great leadership, and that's what scouts should look for in a quarterback, but seldom do they. That's why they said Mark Herman was a fourth-round draft choice. He didn't have a big gun. Mark Herman, the coach here, think will be a great quarterback because he's got a great feel for the game. He can locate receivers. He's got good vision and good leadership.
I'll remind you what I said earlier. In 39 starts, Tommy Kramer has won for Minnesota 7 times, coming from behind in the final 2 minutes. He may have another shot. Denver is thinking onside kick. Keep in mind, too, that Minnesota must score twice. A touchdown, a conversion, and a field goal would do it. And Denver is thinking onside kick. And they did this successfully to beat San Diego earlier in the year. Late in that game, to beat San Diego 33-31. They got the onside kick.
Key thing in that last drive, though, is that Rashad reception.
Absolutely.
When Aaron Kyle was all over.
Well, Aaron Kyle had the interception. Went through his hand.
If Denver watched the movies of the San Diego game, they think that Danmeier will kick right.
But I don't
That's
think...
where Terry LeCount is.
I think... well, they are going to onside kick, and I'm surprised. They are going to do it, though. No, they're not. I didn't think he'd onside kick.
And deep is Mike Harden. And Harden gets out to the 30-yard line. And now the job for the Minnesota Vikings to shut off the Denver defense. And let's go back to look at that reception of Rashad we talked about a moment ago.
And here it is. I think it was a third down play. Tommy Kramer is getting pressured here by Rulon Jones. He's hit. He throws it downfield. Watch. Kyle come in for the interception. Went right kind of through his hands. Rashad kept his concentration, made the catch.
Couldn't have a better evidence of why Rashad is so great.
Oh, he's magnificent.
There he is.
Over the past 5 years, he is the leading receiver in the NFL. But many of them came from your arm, Fran, on 1st and 10. Rick Upchurch, screen right. And Upchurch. Good yardage.
Right. How do you like that call?
By about a yard. Matt Blair there defensively.
Frank, how do you like that call by Dan Reeves?
I'll tell you, it's working, and it's working against a tremendous linebacker in Matt Blair.
Well, what he's doing, he's throwing it out, getting studded out in front of Upchurch. If Upchurch had taken the outside cut, that's easy to say from here, he could have got a lot of yards.
Our word from the Minnesota bench is that Marty McDowell, the rookie from Mississippi State, has a twisted knee.
I'll tell you, these teams are well-coached teams, and the coaches are great game night coaches. They're doing some kind of job, both of them.
4:15 remaining in the game. The clock is moving. Second down, a yard and a half to go for Denver. Tony Reed, left side, and he's piled up short of the first down. It'll be third down at about a yard.
This first down is critical, obviously.
For both teams. Randy Holloway there, who's replaced Doug Martin in that position tonight, and he's played awfully well. He made a big play there. And Dan's coming with his big guys like he's in the short yardage or goal line situation. He wants desperately this first down.
Well, he is in rather a short yardage situation. Third and perhaps a yard. He's got the 3 tight ends in. That's the short yardage offense Fran spoke of. Larry Canada, the big one, at 226 is in there, number 35, and Rob Lytle, number 41. Those are the setbacks. Lytle. Close, but I do not believe he'll get the first.
I don't think he did either.
I think not. I agree.
Very close. This will be totally dependent upon how it's marked.
Well, I don't think he got it.
Nope. And now, I think you must kick away if you're Denver.
Yes, you got to kick.
He's got the #1 defense in the league. They'll bring out the yard markers.
Now, Howard, you might go for it in this situation. Would you?
No, not this time. This time, Frank is right.
Look how close.
Meaning
Look
last
how
time
close.
Frank was wrong.
Look how close.
You put it so well.
Crowd wants him to go for it, but that's absurd.
Well, let's see what he's going to do
Got
here.
3 minutes, 20 seconds left. They got to kick away.
He's not going to kick. He's going to go for it, I think.
Well, he's playing the kind of football they love in Colorado if he goes for it. And
He's
that's
going
exactly
for
what
it.
he's going to do.
All right, Dan Reeves.
Other than the possibility they might go for a long count, knowing that the Minnesota defense will have to be tense.
Yeah, that's possible.
A 5-yard penalty would not necessarily affect him too much.
I'll tell you, this is fun, boys. This is fun. It's a chess game going on out there between Grant and Reeves.
Meanwhile, the seconds are ticking off. In this play, they'll have to hurry And now they know they can't get the playoff. And Craig Morton calls timeout. And Denver has no timeouts remaining. But perhaps Craig Morton has used them wisely. He's done little wrong tonight. Rather than making the error, and I'm going to go back to Red Miller. I think he had a great influence on this man, Craig Morton. When he came here in 1977 and led them to the Super Bowl, Red Miller just absolutely cut Craig Morton's interception percentage in half. He taught him the value of not making the big mistake, not coming up with the turnover. And you see it in the absolutely mature quarterback, Craig Morton. Again, Denver is out of timeouts. Minnesota has their 3, and they have one of the fine hurry-up offenses in football, as we just witnessed a short while ago.
All right, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. All right.
Fourth down, you saw how much.
Whew, this is fun.
They've been using Lytle. They have also Canada. And Canada
He didn't make
gets
it.
the call short of the first, and Minnesota will have the football inside the 40-yard line. And this is what you wondered about. They could have kicked it away. Minnesota would have had to start somewhere down around their 20-yard line. Now they need a touchdown and a field goal to win this football game. They have 2:55 and 3 timeouts remaining.
This time you were right. He should have kicked it.
It shows the respect Dan Reeves has for the Minnesota offense and their ability to come back. He did not want to give him another chance, wanted to make his first down. Daring play, daring gamble, didn't work out for him. Minnesota's got a chance to really get back in it now.
And this will be fun to watch because they will go with the hurry-up offense, or their 2-minute drill, whatever you want to call it.
Reverse.
Here comes the reverse. This is LeCount. The picket line is there. LeCount.
Oh, my goodness.
Down the sideline. LeCount to the 1-yard line. We've got a different game.
Whoa, I'm telling you.
How do you like this football game?
Oh,
How do you like Bud Grant?
this is something
What a
else.
call that was.
And it was LeCount against San Diego with 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and a recovery of an onside kick
Look at
that
the
beat
block
San
by
Diego,
Kramer.
and watch him do it again.
Kramer got a block on Gradishar. They had him completely fooled. LeCount does a wonderful job of running. Almost scored, gets down to the inch line.
2:44 remains in the game. Minnesota with 3 timeouts. That picked up 39 yards. What a call. Ted Brown, Tony Galbreath. Those are the setbacks. Galbreath once again.
He's got it.
Easy touchdown. And now a conversion by Minnesota, and they are within a field goal of winning it. But Denver, don't count them out. They can play ball control. They've showed it already tonight.
I tell you, that Minnesota's come back so many times this year.
They're unbelievable.
It's unreal what they do.
Rick Danmeier.
And this is a critical extra point.
Yes, indeed.
Gift. It gets them within a field goal for a win.
Jim Huff is the snapper. Keith Nord is the holder. And Minnesota has now closed the gap. They trail by 2, 2:40 remaining, 3 timeouts remaining, and Denver will once again be thinking in terms of onside kick.
And
Okay.
All right.
Give Tommy Kramer his due. Give Terry LeCount his due. But what turned this game around? What brought Minnesota back? A man named Bud Grant. He went into the 2-minute offense with 8 minutes left to play. He is showing this league new things. And he's doing it in the most exciting manner possible.
you know, he drives the rest of the league crazy because he takes more time off than any other coach in football.
I love
he doesn't keep his staff there to the wee hours of the night. He's amazing in what he does.
Hey, one other thing he does that I like about him, he has been outspoken about the violence in this game. And he is very critical. And one thing you don't see on the part of a Minnesota Viking football player, the unnecessary roughness, the late hit, he will not tolerate it. He doesn't belong to the football, is what Bud Grant will tell you. And no one could agree more with Bud Grant than yours truly.
Regardless
so much of it today.
Regardless of what ability that he might have in a player, if he gets too many personal foul penalties, that player will be gone from Minnesota. And I've seen it happen many times before. He is the boss.
I tell you, you look at him, and he looks unruffled.
He is unruffled.
He's having a good time.
He is unruffled.
He's well aware of what he's just pulled off. He really is.
All right, Giff, do you think he'll onside kick? Knowing Bud Grant at this time, with this much time left, I don't think he'll onside kick. I think he'll kick it away.
He has the 2-minute warning to stop the clock and 3 timeouts. Danmeier. The shift not necessarily meeting the onside kick.
Well,
this time we'll get it. And it's covered at the 45-yard line by Denver.
That's a big play for Denver because regardless of what they do, it establishes field position. Unless they turn the ball over, Minnesota will have to go a long way to get in field goal range.
Dave Preston, Denver had all their sure-handed ball handling types on the right side. Danmeier, right-footed kicker. They know from the films that that's what he did against San Diego, and Denver is on top of the play. They have the ball, 45-yard line of Minnesota. Their job now, work on the clock, which says 2:36, and do not turn it over.
And they want first down. Minnesota wants to stop it. Here we go. Boy, this is fun.
Craig will have to hurry, and he gets it off as the 30-second clock goes down, and he is swarmed under. But the blitz was on.
Well, it's interesting.
Martin was there. Blair was there. Studwell was there, and there's a loss. Back to the 49-yard line of 5 yards. And Minnesota will stop the clock with 2:29.
I'll tell you.
We'll give them 2 timeouts remaining, and again, they'll be working with the 2-minute warning.
Frank, if we can get a game next week between Buffalo and Dallas, and that figures to be a great matchup. Frank Lewis, Butler, Ferguson, Cribbs against the Cowboys, who came into their own yesterday with that thrilling victory over the Eagles. If we can get a game next week like this game, we're on a roll, I'll tell you.
Dallas and Philadelphia, of course, tied. Top of the Eastern Division of the NFC. And, of course, Buffalo battling. They're a half game back of Miami in the Eastern Division of the AFC.
You know, what you've got here is Minnesota, that time, crowded the line of scrimmage with 9 people. They left 2 cornerbacks man-on-man with the 2 wide receivers. They're saying, Denver, we're going to dare you to try to put the ball in the air. We're going to stop your run. It's exactly what Minnesota should do. Denver, on the other hand, has the option. Either run into that teeth of that defense and know they're not going to get a first down, or take not even a big risk and throw it to the wide receiver for a possible touchdown, because he'll be man-on-man. Just watch the strategy unfold.
Morton, you saw his numbers a moment ago. Maybe the key one, no interceptions. 2nd down, 15.
And they're blitzing.
Upchurch in motion. There's the pursuit, and Morton had to hurry the pass to Parros. It'll be 3rd down and 16. The clock shows 2:25. Doug Martin pressuring Morton once again.
It's really not the kind of pass you want to throw against a blitz. Play pass is no good against a blitz. The linebackers will get to you. Also, when you blitz, you get a safety man on your back coming out of the backfield, which is the case of Hannon that time. Not a good play selection in that situation.
Not only that, incomplete, kills the clock. All the time in the world for Minnesota, all they need is a field goal.
Right to the line of scrimmage, 3rd down, 15. Watson split to the right with 3 wide receivers. That includes Haven Moses in the game for Denver. Here comes the pressure. Martin hangs it up for Watson, and this time overthrows as Watson was dueling Walt Williams, and it'll be 4th down. Minnesota will get the football back, and they'll have plenty of time, and they'll have 2 timeouts.
But that time they did the right thing. They had man-on-man. They blitzed again against the cornerback. Watson was open. Craig just didn't get him the ball. If he'd have gotten him the ball, touchdown, game's over.
Tell you, Reeves is getting an education. The brilliant young coach against the brilliant old master.
There's Eddie Payton. Minnesota will attempt, of course, to block the punt. One of the best in the business. We've already talked about Matt Blair. Frustrates, takes no chances, hurries the punt. Eddie Payton now moves away from it, and this will die inside the 15-yard line. And Minnesota, realistically, will have to move the ball somewhere close to the 30-yard line for the foot of Rick Danmeier to pull this game out. 2:09 remaining, 2 timeouts, and the clock will stop with the 2-minute warning.
The score was 19-3 with 8 minutes left or thereabouts. What would you have given for Minnesota's chance?
I said they had a chance, Howard. Somebody up here said no chance. I don't know who it was. Who was that who said that?
Frank.
It wasn't Jeff, and it wasn't me, but I don't know who it was up there, but it was somebody. It wasn't Steve Pazinka either.
First down 10.
Another
Galbreath faked the reverse that they used so effectively earlier, and Galbreath battling down the sidelines, and he gets out of bounds and stops the clock. And that will give Minnesota one more play before the 2-minute warning. They can use that play and avoid using a timeout.
Isn't it interesting that he's using Galbreath in this situation and not Ted Brown? And he's had him in the last 2 key situations.
That is interesting.
There he is. I told you about the 115 receptions in the past 2 years with New Orleans. His rushing output came well down last year to 300. He had been rushing for 500 and 600 a year. Galbreath over the 25, gets the first down, so we get the 2-minute warning, and Minnesota will have a first down and 10. The ball will be just over their own 20-yard line. They'll have 2 timeouts remaining, and they need a field goal to win. We'll be back. We hope you're watching all over the country one of the most interesting football games I think we've ever had on Monday Night Football. We had no scoring, no touchdowns until the 3rd quarter. And all of a sudden, things have erupted. Minnesota couldn't get a touchdown until 3 quarters and 5 minutes. They put together 2. They still have 1:57 on the clock. They have a first down and 10. The ball at their own 20-yard line, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. It's been exciting. Ted Brown has replaced Galbreath. He's a single setback. Kramer. Sensor. And it's complete. Sensor has another first down, this time out to the 36-yard line.
I tell you, Bud Grant, and we talked about it during the break, Bud Grant simply must have a feel. Suddenly, Galbreath is playing and not Ted Brown, and Galbreath has become a consequential figure in this late drive.
Well, he got another feel because he's taking him out. Okay, but he is something. He knows how to use his personnel on first and 10. Kramer. Complete. Whoa. Sensor trying to get to the sidelines. He cannot do so. Hurry up offense. Plenty of time, however.
Yeah, the clock will not stop Minnesota. If they're to be stopped, Denver will have to do it because he's got plenty of time, plenty of timeouts, and plenty of time on the clock. 1:32 and counting.
And they have a field goal kicker that is 13 of 14 on the year. Rick Danmeier. Minnesota down by 2. Kramer into a crowd, and this almost picked off defensively, and a flag goes down now. A late flag, and Tommy Kramer indicates it's against Denver.
Against Denver, roughing the passer.
There's Danmeier. His longest effort of the year, and he is, as I said, 13 of 14. His longest effort of the year, 45 yards.
You know, when you get it going your way, you get it going your way.
Got it. They got it going that way. 2 timeouts left. Minute 20 seconds left.
Oh,
look at this.
Yep.
They're almost there.
Here's Fred Wyatt.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 75. First down.
Rulon Jones, the best pass rusher for Denver. Over-eager. Those are the kind of penalties you do not ever want. Youngster, second-year man, Rulon Jones, out of Utah State. First and 10, Minnesota. Inside the 35 now of Denver. Drawing to within range of Danmeier. This is Brown. Gets more yardage this time, down to the 27-yard line as Steve Foley is there defensively.
Jeff, a thing to remember here, Danmeier doesn't have the greatest range in the world, but you're here in the mile-high city, the air is thinner, the ball carries better. He'll have a lot more range here than he does in Minnesota.
It's one of those 43% relative humidity nights. The ball will travel. We've seen it in and out of the end zone on kickoffs. Here comes Ted Brown.
Oh, he
is smacked by Tom Jackson. And now, Minnesota will use one of their timeouts. They have one remaining. Tommy Kramer will move over, and Bud Grant will discuss fishing, hunting,
Right.
such things as that. He keeps everything in priority, I'll tell you that.
Well, in Minnesota's case, with one more timeout left, they got to save that timeout to get in position to kick the field goal. But they've got plenty of time, 44 seconds. They can run a couple of plays before they have to use that timeout.
They also want to use up the clock enough so that if they make it, Denver has no time to come back.
And on the Denver side, they have no timeouts left. If they got the ball, they're in a lot of trouble.
A loss by Minnesota tonight, and they fall into a tie with Tampa Bay in the Central Division of the NFC with 5-4 records. A win by Minnesota, they will be one game ahead of Tampa Bay.
John Denver and Alvin Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of the National Football League, here for the occasion. John,
Excuse me, I think this is rather interesting. Denver, should they lose tonight, they will drop one game behind Kansas City and San Diego, and very close to Oakland that is starting to make a move once again. 3rd down and 3. Ted Brown, down he goes. It'll be 4th down. Well, Harry Smith, fine defensive play, decision time now for Bud Grant. Tommy Kramer looked over, indicated, do we kick? Bud Grant knows full well the capacity of Rick Danmeier, and it would be right on the limit if he had to kick from this point.
Well, he's going to let the clock run down. He's going to let him kick the ball. He's going to let it run down the full 30 seconds, which will run it down to about 2 seconds on the clock.
You know, they do this over and over, but they run this clock down to 1 or 2 seconds. You wonder why they don't run it down to, say, 6 or 7 seconds in case the snap is bad and the holder has to fall on it and then get a chance to kick it again.
Not on 4th down, Jeff. 4th
You're
down
right.
will be all over.
I said, I wonder why they don't do it, though. I got my answer.
Well, let's look here, Jeff. How long
Now, what was it that who did it the other day on a 3rd down? They ran it down to 1 second.
I tell you, win or lose, what a comeback by Minnesota.
Well, this is a 46, 47-yard effort. What's his longest for the year?
45.
45 on the year.
Well,
13 of 14.
You know, this is a stretch for Danmeier's range in any place other than Denver, Colorado. And Denver, Colorado, this is within his range.
That's right. Jim Turner proved that all the years old High Shoes was kicking for distances that he never achieved when with the Jets.
Well, here we go. My goodness, what a great game.
Again,
Whatever way.
Jim Huff is the snapper. That's so important, his role. The man who holds the ball, Steve Nord. He'll have to get it down quickly because this ball will have to leave the foot very low. Short.
Nope, that's short.
Ball game is over, and Denver has moved into a tie with Kansas City and San Diego with their victory tonight. A 19-17 effort. Credit their defense and a great effort by Craig Morton. There is the man that was knocked out of the game earlier, came back to pull Denver up. And there is a man that came so close once again to pulling disaster out. That's Barry Schuster.
What a great game. And look at that man. Congratulate him in defeat. He is a brilliant coach. Extraordinary. And what a great game for Dan Reeves to win.
And now, Minnesota has fallen back to a tie with Tampa Bay. They'll meet them in Bloomington on Sunday. Cleveland will be here in Denver. Once again, the final score, 19-17, Denver over Minnesota. Remember to stay tuned for ABC News Nightline 30 minutes after the game, 11:30 on the West Coast, over most of these ABC stations. Be sure to join us this Friday for a WBC World Heavyweight Championship fight. Larry Holmes defending his title against Ronaldo Snipes live at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, blacked out in the Pittsburgh area. Travel arrangements made through, and a promotion will be paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. We'll see you from Dallas next Monday night, Dallas and Buffalo.